Hi YouTube, I'm Dominique, and in today's video I'll be sharing my experience on how I became a paid travel influencer. So if you've been following me on TikTok, then you know that I was going to post a YouTube series basically explaining my entire journey as to becoming a travel influencer. I'm going to try to make this like a multiple part series, so you'll be seeing a breakdown of basically how I got started, how I built my following, how I ended up getting paid collaborations, how I ended up going on free press trips. I'm gonna make it like a multi-video series so you guys can basically hop from video to video and get some ideas as to how you can get started. So let's get right into it. But basically how I started was, I started about, I would say maybe 10 years ago. This was right after I graduated high school in 2011. In high school, I had a love and a passion for music, a bunch of different genres, and that inspired me to become a music journalist. I basically wanted to interview different artists that I had an appreciation for their music for. This inspired me to basically start blogging. And what blogging is basically, it's like you're a journalist, but instead of print form, it's more so digital. So that's what I did. I started freelancing for a bunch of different music blogs and entertainment blogs online. And I did this for a while until that inspired me to start my own music and entertainment blog. That blog was also called Bloganista. I had that blog for maybe, I think I had that blog for about 8 years until I basically got tired of it. The pay wasn't really great. The amount of stress that you went through, like while I was covering different music events or events in general, just dealing with a bunch of negative people, that really made me shift my interest to something else, which inspired me to be a travel blogger or travel influencer. So how I became a travel influencer is, in a nutshell, I started here in Miami, which is where I'm based, which is where I was born and raised. Now what I would do before is when I would go to different events, I would somewhat share my experience on my blog about those different events that I went to. I've always been in love with discovering new restaurants in Miami or just different experiences here in Miami in general. So what I would do is when I would discover a different experience here, like a new restaurant was opening or like a new attraction was coming here, I would go. Of course, I was spending my own money at first, but I would go, I would take pictures, I would take videos of myself, of the place, of the experience, and I would tag the businesses on social media. I would add the location. I did this for a while. I did this for a good while actually, until different businesses here in Miami started reaching out to me. But before they started reaching out to me, I would reach out to them as well. So it was more so like back and forth. So if I would see that there was a new restaurant coming to Miami, I would reach out to them on Instagram, or even if you go to like a different company's website, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's always a contact us page. So you can either reach out to them on social media through a direct message, or you can go directly to their websites and contact them basically. So what I would do is I would reach out to them and I would let them know, hey, my name is Dominique. I'm based here in Miami. I see that you guys are coming here. And basically I would love to do a review about my experience at your restaurant, or etc., etc. So that's basically how I would reach out to companies. After doing that for a while, like I said, companies would reach out to me, or we would do like the reaching out back and forth. And that's basically how I started doing like free reviews here in Miami. So when a new restaurant comes here, like I said, or a new attraction or a new hotel is coming here, companies will reach out to me now, most likely, or I will reach out to them if I'm interested. So like I said, I started here in Miami. I would do a little bit of traveling like myself, basically paying for everything myself. But what I would do is I would take my skills that I learned here, which is basically reaching out to different restaurants and hotels and attractions. And when I would travel somewhere, basically spending my own money for hotels, flights, accommodations, instead of paying for basically everything myself, I would put what I learned here in Miami to use basically to where I was traveling. Say for example, I was going to basically New York. Say I booked my flight to New York and I say, man, I want to go to this restaurant. I want to go to Mr. Chow, for example, or I want to stay at the Plaza Hotel. What I would do is once I would book my flight, like I said, I would put my skills that I learned here in Miami to use when I was traveling somewhere else. So what I would do is I would reach out to the Plaza Hotel, like I said, or Mr. Chow on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter through a direct message, or I would reach out to them on their contact page on their websites and I would let them know, hey, my name is Dominique. I have an upcoming trip to New York, and I would love to basically review your restaurant or your hotel during my travels or during my trip. 9 times out of 10, the company is going to respond, especially if they see you have like a close-knit relationship with your audience. That's another video that I'm going to get into as well, as far as building that relationship with your audience, because a lot of brands love to see that. They love to see when you have a close relationship with your followers. But I would basically do that. I would reach out to different hotels, restaurants, attractions, to wherever I was traveling to. So remember, like I said, I started here in Miami, and when I would travel myself, basically funding everything by myself, I would reach out to different companies, basically to eliminate the cost of different things while I was traveling to different places. So how I ended up becoming a paid travel influencer is, the very first time that I had a paid gig was when I worked with the Chicago Tourism Board. And like I explained in some of my TikTok videos, is that every city and state has a tourism board. So Miami has a tourism board because, you know, it's its own individual city, and the state of Florida has its own tourism board. So what I did was, I wanted to take a trip to Chicago, right? I had been seeing Chicago for a while. I never seen snow. And what I did was I ended up reaching out to the Chicago Tourism Board. So I let them know what I did. I sent them my work. I sent them my social media accounts. I ended up sending them like previous videos that I had done of like different places and different experiences. And I sent a media kit. That's another video I'm going to get into. But if you plan to become a travel influencer or a content creator in general, a media kit is very important. And with a media kit, that breaks down basically everything that you've done, or it breaks down everything, especially like your social media accounts. The media kit, they have direct links to where a company basically doesn't have to click here and click there and go here and go there to like discover your work. Everything that you've done is in your media kit. But I would send my media kit. I was saying, of course, I will also add my social media links, even though that they were already added into my media kit. Basically, what I would do is send them what I call a proposal. What I would do is offer them a service in exchange for a service, basically. So what I will offer is, you know, free social media postings, pictures, videos, whether it be for 1 day or 2 days or whatever we agreed upon, then that's basically just what it was. You're offering a service in exchange for a service. Companies will not work with you. I'm telling you, companies will not work with you if you don't really have anything to offer. But like I said, I had my first paid travel influencer trip through the Chicago Tourism Board. Shout out to them. They paid for my flight, they paid for my hotel, or they covered my flight, they covered my hotel, and they also covered my food. So what they did was they created an entire itinerary for me. And this was basically my flight details, the airline I was flying with, the airport that I was flying into and out of. Now the only thing that they didn't cover was transportation, but they did pay me for this trip. So the pay that they gave me, I used some of the pay towards transportation, which I took Uber or Lyft, whichever one was the cheapest. But a lot of the places that they put on that itinerary for me was not far from each other. So the Uber or Lyft was like no more than, I would say, based on all of the trips, they were no more than like $10 a piece. They were probably $10 or less, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they cover my hotel, my flights, the restaurants I went to, the attractions I went to. They basically covered everything. And with the tourism boards, like I always explain to people, with the tourism boards, like I said, every city or state has one. Tourism boards, they go back decades. So before travel influencers or travel bloggers came about, people would actually go to tourism websites to see like different things to do in that said city or state. So tourism boards have like a long history. But with tourism boards, they usually have this thing called press trips. They call them fam trips. I know it's called like fam trips, and I forgot the other term that they use, but they basically host these trips maybe once or twice out of the year. Even different countries do it. I'm telling you guys, like the amount of places that you can travel to for free that I've seen like for myself. Not only that I've seen for myself, but that I've seen through like other people as far as like doing research. And the tourism boards will actually cover it, because basically what they want you to do is, It's basically like you're giving them free promotion, but not necessarily. But they want you to promote their city because of course they want people to come. Tourism brings in the highest amount of funds, especially like when it comes to different countries. So like for example with Jamaica. Jamaica's tourism brings in so much money for their country. So of course, why wouldn't they take the time out to host one person or host a couple of people when they're gonna bring in millions, if not millions, billions of dollars through tourism. So they want you to promote their hotels, they want you to promote their restaurants, they want you to promote their attractions so more people can come and visit the city or visit the state or visit their country. How I ended up learning about basically tourism boards and all of this information. I know it's a lot. I'm gonna try to get out as much as I can, and if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below. But how I ended up learning about this is basically through tons and tons of years of research. When I tell you I research, like I freaking research. This was around the time I didn't have a job, I didn't have an income, so of course you don't have anything to do. So all I had to do was freaking research. Like that's all I was doing. And I would watch like other videos. I was really inspired by, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the makeup brand Tarte, but Tarte Cosmetics, what they would do is when they would launch a new product, they would have a bunch of different beauty bloggers or beauty influencers go on an all expenses paid trip, and basically that's how they launched a new product. It was called Tripping with Tarte. I absolutely love that series. I wish they would bring it back, but it was called Tripping with Tarte. I remember Makeup Shayla was on there. I love watching Makeup Shayla. Another one that I used to watch, I think it was Desi. I think her name is Desi. But I used to enjoy their travel blogs or travel vlogs when they would go on these press trips. Not even press trips, but when they would go on these trips with Tarte Cosmetics. And that's another reason I got inspired, because I'm like, man, like they're going to all of these beautiful places for free. I would love to go here. I'm gonna do this one day. I basically spoke it into existence because I told myself like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go there. And that's another thing as well. Like you have to speak this stuff. I hate when people say, oh, I don't want to create content, or I'm shy, or I don't like being on camera, or this or that. I was the same way. When I tell you, anyone that knows me, they know that I'm shy, they know I'm an introvert, and I do not like going out when it's like large crowds. So for me to actually get on these platforms and to show my face and to speak, and I hate public speaking, you guys, you just don't know, it makes me so nervous. But for me to like put myself out there and do this stuff and show my face and share my experiences with you guys, I feel like I've become more comfortable because of the positive feedback that I've been getting. But I do not like when people say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that because I don't like being on camera, or I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I have to do my makeup and blah blah blah. 9 times out of 10, I feel like people don't care. As long as you provide good content, I feel like people don't care. But yeah, that's basically like in a nutshell how I got started. My first press trip. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna break this down into a multi-series. So I will try to post videos basically every week. I feel like my next video is going to be about how I grew my social media following and how I grew my social media engagement. So be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment for more. Let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comments that you want me to answer, and I'll be sure to answer them in my next video. And as always, like and follow for more.